Welcome to another edition of Creepy Riddles and Cryptic Tales. As usual, the answers to last week's riddles are in the description below, and the answers to this week's riddles will be in next Friday's video. Try to guess the hidden meaning behind the stories in the comments below. Story 1. The Woods. A man is walking through the woods at night with a young girl. She begins to exclaim about how creepy the woods are at night. "I agree," says the man, "especially since I'll be walking back alone." Story 2. Photographs. Me and 3 of my friends went ghost hunting a few nights ago. We each had a camera and went around taking pictures of whatever we could find in an attempt to capture some kind of spirit, or anything scary for that matter. When we got back and went through the pictures, not one single picture showed anything paranormal. So instead I found a picture of the 4 of us and photoshopped a big cartoony ghost in the background. When I showed it to my friend, at first he laughed, then his face turned pale. Story 3. Backpack. There are 2 men lying in the desert. One is alive and one is dead, but both men have backpacks on. The man whose backpack is closed is dead. The man whose backpack is open is alive. How did the man with the closed backpack die? Story 4. Bowling ball. My friend said to me the other day, "Did you know that the human head is the same weight as a bowling ball?" Of course I knew that, I said. He's always reading these dumb books of random facts and feels compelled to share them. Story 5. Special power. I often use the subway to go to work in the morning. One day, when I was waiting for the train, I noticed a homeless man standing in the corner of a subway station, muttering to himself as people passed by. He was holding out a cup and seemed to be begging for spare change. A fat woman passed by the homeless man and I distinctly heard him say, "Pig." Wow, I thought to myself. This homeless man is insulting people and he still expects them to give him money. Then a tall businessman went by and the homeless guy muttered, "Human." Human. I can't argue with that. Obviously he was a human. The next day I arrived early at the subway station and had some time to kill, so I decided to stand close to the homeless man and listen to his strange mutterings. A thin, haggard-looking man passed in front of him, and I heard the homeless guy mutter, "Cow." Cow, I thought. The man was much too skinny to be a cow. He looked more like a turkey or a chicken to me. A minute or so later, a fat man went by and the homeless man said, "Potato." Potato? I was under the impression that he called all fat people pig. That day at work, I couldn't stop thinking about the homeless man and his puzzling behavior. I kept trying to find some logic or pattern in what he was muttering. Perhaps he has some kind of psychic ability, I thought. Maybe he knows what these people were in a previous life. I know many people believe in reincarnation. I observed the homeless man many times and began to think my theory was right. I often heard him calling people things like rabbit or onion or sheep or tomato. One day, curiosity got the better of me and I decided to ask him what was going on. As I walked up to him, he looked at me and said, "Bread." I tossed some money into his cup and asked him if he had some kind of psychic ability. The homeless man smiled and said, "Yes, indeed, I do have a psychic ability. It's an ability I obtained many years ago, but it's not what you might expect. I can't tell the future or read minds or anything like that. Then, what is your ability? I asked eagerly. The ability is merely to know the last thing somebody ate, he said. I laughed because I realized he was right. He said bread. The last thing I had eaten for breakfast that day was toast. I walked away shaking my head. Of all the psychic abilities someone could have, that one must be the most useless.